Hi, welcome to allthingsproduction.com. In this video I want to demonstrate how to use the repeat function in Logic when programming trap. So let me give you a quick example of just a trap idea that I'm working on, and then I'll break down to what's going on here. And while this is going, I might talk a little bit. I don't want to overshadow the track. I've gotten some comments in the past saying that it's hard for them to hear the music and what's going on because I talk too much. So, all right, here we go. Let's check it out. Just going to demonstrate the automation here of the filter. Snare coming in. Okay, so and then the section repeats here. What we might want to listen for here is some of the individual little crowd sample. And of course, one thing we hear is the typical hi-hat programming, and I'm just going to show you how I usually do it. It's actually fairly simple. I usually program the regular beat first without the hi-hat. So if I break that down here for a second, it would be just a piece like this, right? And then let me go ahead and let's mute this for a second here. And what basically happens is I get up here and I turn note repeat on, and note repeat, I like to use it with the modulation wheel. I set my lowest setting to eighth and my top either to 30 seconds or 64. Now I'm dealing with this song in double tempo, so it's counting 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2. So eighth note is actually more like a 16th note, so you have to be careful how you set this. But I also turned on the triplets, which is very important because when I hit the hi-hat, I don't know if you guys can see it. I'm going to just turn the hi-hat. I'm going to turn it a little bit here on the keyboard. I'm just holding a note, right? And it's playing the so when I hit the modulation wheel, right? So the note repeat takes care of this for me. So when I program this, I basically I don't use the capture recording because it usually messes it up. So what I usually do is I actually set my cycle just a little early, maybe even 2 bars early, so I can get ready. And I actually go into record, and I hold it, and I just, as you can see, I'm hitting the modulation wheel. Right, so when I play this back, all the motions are there, right? So that's a really easy way to do it. Now for some reason I started a beat early, don't ask me why. But this gives you an idea of how to use note repeat. Now another very important thing about trap is of course snare rolls. We know how, and what I do a lot of times with these is a lot of people like write a pitch up or a modulation pitch wheel, but I actually just create a single snare, and what I used for this is just a regular electronic snare. And if you look at your factory settings drum percussion sets, you see there are single drums, and in the snares there are a couple of really good 808 type of snares here, and they work really well. Of course you can do some some processing here that I will probably upload the session for you so you can actually play with these by yourself. The only thing that you probably will not have is Synth Master, which I have here, but you know, I could freeze the track and you could listen to it that way, which is probably a good solution because you can always unfreeze it. All these other samples will be in the upload as well. The crowd sample right here is actually pretty cool to use in some things. Let me give you an example. especially if you go. Sounds kind of chopped, but in the track, just sounds like people going, hey, 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 right? And then what's the most important thing about trap is, of course, the drop, right? And in this case, I usually use some other plugins, but I wanted to make a setup that actually works with just Logic plugin. And the importance about this 808 drop is that most of the frequencies are so low that if you play it on regular speakers, you will not be able to really hear the tonal quality. And to change that, there are several processes that I used here. So one thing that I did was I added an overdrive. And what that does is it creates additional harmonics above or around that range of 490. So that's right around the mids where we get to really hear the tone and the notes. So when you play this on smaller speakers, you should still hear it. Now, if it's only sub, it's 80, 50 hertz, and you play it on anything but big speakers, the sub will not exist at all. So this is kind of the trick of still containing the sub frequencies on the big system, but also add this kind of mid distortion. In addition, I'm kind of upward expanding with the multipressor the mids a little bit. And I'm upward also compressing the very lows by raising them but then pushing them down. And then I added a sub enhancer, which is Logic's R-Bass basically, that adds additional harmonics in the low frequencies. And then I'm compressing it just one more time to just hit it a little harder. So if I bring this up, let's hear it without it. And you will feel a little bit more sub here, but it will not cut through your laptop speakers if you're on laptops as much as this does. So this sample I will also add. I hope you have battery. If you don't, you're going to have to set it up in the EX. The sample will be in the sample folder. Hopefully this helps you a little bit with your trap programming, even breaking this session down, kind of looking at that. I'm also adding my favorite kind of trap brass to this, several claps. And another thing that I've used here is one of the Space Designer's convolutions that I've made out of a nonlinear reverb, the Clark Technique DN720, I think it was called. It's on this one, I think. Oh, this is the Midnight Hall. Oh, because I'm on the wrong track. Here we go. It's on 4. And this is a small little sample that works just great on little 808 snares. It's not too audible, but it does add some nice depth if you guys hear it without it. I haven't found that good of a non-linear inside Space Designer itself, so I'm going to add that sample for you guys, and then you just add it into your I think it's library, application support, audio impulse responses, or you leave it with your session, but then it's only going to be available for this session. If you want it available in all sessions, you go up here, you save as so that it's in your program folder, but then you also have to put the actual impulse response into your impulse response folder inside your application support. No, I'm sorry, inside your library audio impulse response folder. So hopefully that helps. Have fun. I know this was kind of short, but I think the additional things that you see here, if you break it down, download it, play with it, I think will really help you maybe for your own trap tracks. Okay? All right. Have a great one.